Sonic Time Twisted is one of the most well-known fan games in the community, especially in terms of 2D classic-styled games. But why exactly is that? What sets this game apart from the sea of 2D Sonic fan games, and does it stand the test of time still being great and memorable a whole 4 years after its initial release? That's exactly what I'm here to find out today. Hi, my name's Nicholas, but it's Nick for short, and I've analyzed just about everything I wanted to whenever it comes to Sonic's past. Now it's time to look at the present and future of this franchise, but also its Sonic fan content that deserves just as much love and attention as the main series titles. So, let's do just that. I've played Time Twisted for the first time, and I have many differing opinions, but I knew from the very first act of this game it had a spark to it, and I was certain I needed to talk about it. This is why Sonic Time Twisted should not be forgotten. Although normally I go in-depth on a story here, considering this is a classic-styled Sonic game, there isn't much of one. Yet it does hold some serious originality and acts as a culmination of everything classic Sonic from the Genesis. After the events of Sonic 3 and Knuckles, Little Planet returns with Metal Sonic in tow. Predictably, our heroes set off on an adventure to stop Metal Sonic and uncover the mystery regarding the sudden appearance of the Time Stones and the strange lack of presence from Dr. Eggman. So overall, the story is pretty intriguing. The lack of Eggman as the central antagonist lends itself to having a stronger sense of identity by having Metal Sonic take the lead as villain. Overall, it's just a good premise for a classic Sonic title, taking old elements and bringing them back without reusing anything directly. To begin, the control in this game is absolutely fantastic. Although not quite as fluid as Sonic Mania, I'd say it has that feeling of precision and accuracy seen in 3 and Knuckles, and that goes for all of its characters. The momentum-based physics are as delightful as ever, but to be frank, explaining the control in this game seems redundant, as it's exactly what you'd expect from a classic-styled Sonic game. Where the game really shines is in its unique level design. The level design of Sonic Time Twisted takes heavy inspiration from Sonic CD and Sonic 3 and Knuckles, which lends itself to being one of the most massive 2D classic-styled games I've ever played. In Sonic CD, the level design was far more vertical than it was horizontal, leading to what felt like labyrinths of levels, but that, in my opinion, was frankly to the game's detriment, as it made the levels feel overly long and confusing without any of the high-speed thrills of previous titles. In 3 and K, however, the level design was brought back to a more traditional Sonic layout, with loads of fast-paced loops and hills, but included exploration in a far more engaging way than CD did. It was able to have loads of hidden pathways and rewards for your troubles, such as elemental shields, which were always so satisfying to get. Not to mention the ring monitors were given more purpose due to the opportunity to hop into bonus stages for more items, and special stage rings made exploration truly rewarding. And it's with this context we find ourselves here with Time Twisted, as it attempts to combine a very flawed and very enriching level design architecture into one, and in a twist, pardon the pun, I genuinely was surprised at how well the two styles meshed and complemented each other, at least sometimes. The game combines the two by bringing the stage-by-stage gimmicks of 3 and K and its expansive level design to the table, but puts more emphasis on basic platforming over speed like CD did. Although not my ideal way to handle it, and I'll list my gripes in just a moment, the levels established a very unique identity for themselves, and it was really interesting to see how some levels went more CD and others went more 3 and K with their level design. Some levels greatly combined both forms of level design, while others leaned more towards one over the other. For example, in the middle chunk of the game, large maze-like levels take center stage, but in the beginning and ending levels, they have more speed sections for the sake of feeling more cinematic. Personally, I would have preferred a constant balance of the two, as I feel the mixture only sometimes works. A few stages are really fun with loads of exploration and speed, while others are slow and clunky due to an overly vertical and basic design structure. Overall, the level design is good and even great in intervals, but one aspect of the game just doesn't quite hit the mark in my opinion. For all this talk of exploration, the game hardly rewards you for doing so, I feel. Yes, elemental shields are plentiful as well as ring boxes and 1-ups, but this game has quite possibly the highest amount of important collectibles I've ever seen in a classic Sonic title. Both the Chaos Emeralds and Time Stones are hidden throughout the levels, locked behind special stages, and these are honestly a standout aspect of the game. The way they function as both special and bonus stages is stellar, as you can collect rings, items, and shields which you can keep whenever you enter the main level again. Furthermore, the differing paths leading to different rewards in these special stages is a great idea and adds a lot of replay value. And the ability to retry at the cost of a life is simply perfect and adds so much more value to not only your lives, but also 1-up monitors as well. But the issue I was talking about earlier wasn't about the special stages themselves, but instead, it was about the placement of their entrances. All of the mystical gems are placed in big rings throughout the levels, and instead of clever placement or being seen through the player's keen eye, so many are hidden inside of walls with no indications that they're hollow. Sonic 3 and Knuckles had these no doubt, but to a much lesser extent. In Sonic 3, big rings were plentiful enough for a good player properly exploring to get Super Sonic relatively easily. It took exploration and hard work, but it could be done on a first playthrough. This game, however, fails at that. Time Twisted instead creates these gargantuan levels, but they have little to no reward for exploration in the form of special stage entrances, instead opting for giving the player simple power-ups, which are only rewarding for so long. When the game demands such an outrageous quota of collectibles in a 2D platformer barely clocking in at about an hour, then they need to be easier to obtain. Instead of higher pathways containing entrances, I found most of mine through the aforementioned unsuspecting walls by complete accident. In fact, most of my special stage encounters felt like accidents. I searched and searched, but each time I found a special stage entrance, I was more confused than anything, as their placement didn't feel skillful and well thought out at all. I found myself getting lost enough to get confused on my first playthrough. No more confusing than a first playthrough of Sonic CD, but confused nonetheless. If I can comfortably get Super and Hypersonic on my first playthrough of Sonic 3 and Knuckles, yet barely get any of the collectibles here, it tells me that my criticisms are not unwarranted. Sonic Time Twisted has a lot of great concepts with its level design, and even manages to bring them into reality with surprisingly fun results. But I do not think that the quality in combining speed and exploration is consistent enough to demand such a large amount of collectibles without better and more plentiful placement of special stage entrances. But with the level design out of the way, what else does this game have to offer? Well, quite a lot actually. One of my favorite parts of the game is its large variety of elemental shields. We have the classic fire, lightning, and bubble, but joining the party is wind, rock, and a variety of others that bring such unique abilities that make Sonic more fun to control than ever, allowing for neat shortcuts and the ability to use brand new abilities like hovering or firing projectiles. To be honest, this is something I would love to see expanded upon, especially in official media, because whenever it comes to character abilities, Sonic has always been the weakest link, essentially being the base for every other character after him. So to give him more elemental abilities is an exceptional idea. Speaking of other characters, however, Tails and Knuckles both control great, and their sprite work is absolutely phenomenal. But lastly, on the gameplay front, the iconic Sonic CD time travel feature has been added, and it's back and better than ever. In order to make the jump, all you need is a signpost and some speed, and you're whisked off to the past or future, and this is infinitely better than the original game's method of travel. This is the way to do time travel in classic Sonic, no ifs, ands, or buts. Continuing the streak of positives, the boss fights in this game were some of my favorite encounters. Lots of them were really creative and had some fair strategies. Not all were winners, and some were a simple waiting game, but their presence and design carried the weaker fights. Speaking of presence and design, I might as well talk about the overall aesthetic of this game. The sprites for this game are flat out jaw-dropping and look like the long-lost Sega Saturn game we never got, and I think that gorgeous sprite work is best showcased in the level environments. As a quick aside, I absolutely hate Knuckles' running animation, as I think it's a terrible silhouette and overall just really confusing looking. The sprite work itself is good, but I just really do not like the animation. But onto the topic of level themes. These are without a doubt some of the most creative ever brought into the realm of 2D Sonic, and the way you can end up anywhere at any time adds such a thrill to the game. And that's brought to the forefront with the core mechanic of time travel constantly adding a fresh coat of paint to levels. Unfortunately, I do think the soundtrack is pretty weak, however. I'm no expert musician, but most of the compositions are good but not quite bouncy enough for Sonic stages. Then again, it may be the instruments chosen instead of the compositions themselves, as the sounds are sort of muffled and washed out in my opinion, even on the OST versions. Lastly, the cutscenes add a serious charm to the game, because not only do they look cool, but they really show the passion behind the dev team. I've been harsh to this game in a lot of ways over the course of this review, but even so, I very much enjoyed my time with this game. I would place it over both Sonic 1 and CD personally. And I know it's a fan game, but I don't want to disrespect the developers' hard work by going easy on it. They strove to make a great classic Sonic title, and I think they achieved a darn good one. Every fan of Sonic's classic series needs to give this game a shot if they haven't already. Heck, go replay it right now even. I know I will. I still haven't gotten the good ending. And well, I want to figure out exactly why the story finishes with a damaged metal Sonic crumbling before Eggman finally emerges as a giant deity trying to murder me in space. So while I go do that, I encourage you to do the same. This is truly an excellent fan work and a great classic Sonic title. It is a perfect template for the classic series to take going forward in my opinion, and that's the reason you should not forget Sonic Time Twisted. Hello everybody, this is just a quick little unscripted update. Normally I don't do this, but I feel like it's warranted just to let both subscribers and newcomers to the channel, who I would just like to thank again for watching all the way to here, what I'm going to be doing with my channel going forward. I'm going to keep the analysis content coming like this in my previous videos, but I've basically talked about everything that I feel a strong need to talk about whenever it comes to Sonic's past games. And so now I want to focus on the Sonic's, well, present and future. I want to focus on what is currently happening in both official and fan media. I want to review fan games in this fashion to give them the respect they deserve if they truly are aiming to be a full-fledged Sonic game like Time Twisted was. I want to give them the respect they deserve and treat them like an official game and give them the proper review I think they should have. In regards to official Sonic media, I'm going to go kind of back to my roots. I know that that's basically a death sentence in most stuff, but what I mean by that is I'm just going to be doing a lot more character analysis type content. I want to tackle Blaze really bad. I want to get a lot more into what makes her character tick, as well as other characters from the Archie series even. And speaking of comics, I'm going to be tackling a lot more IDW because I love those comics and I loved making the Metal Madness Saga stuff, so I really hope that you enjoy videos like that coming in the future. So that's basically all I have to say as far as updates go, and I would just heavily encourage you that if you like deep dive analysis content on the Sonic series and even non-Sonic stuff, then please consider watching my other content, and if you enjoy what you see, then I would greatly appreciate if you subscribed, followed me on Twitter, went to my Patreon if you really want to support me like all the way. I understand if you can or just don't want to, but that is an option. So thank you again so much for watching, and goodbye.